Good evening, everybody. Go ahead and let me know if you can see the screen and you can hear me okay. Quick mic test here. We shall get started in about 5 minutes. All right, what's going on, everybody? How's everybody doing? Interesting markets, of course. What are you guys out there trading? How many of you guys are out there trading crypto? If you are, very good, very good. If not, it's a new day. All right, one last little mic check here before we get started. What's going on? We'll let everybody trickle in. We'll get started in about 2 minutes. What's going on? What's going on? As you can see, watching Bitcoin here on the Gemini exchange. This would be my, at the moment, this would be my largest distraction from trading regular markets. Today's going to be a fun topic here where we talk distractions. Again, Let's get a little mic check here. Make sure you guys are seeing the screen and everything. You guys are kind of quiet here. What the hell? Did market get you good today? That's what happened? Hearn here busy watching that BTC, of course. But of course. All right. All right, let's go ahead and get started. All right, welcome everybody to today's webinar here. Again, this is Sang Lucci here, and we opened up our master course that is starting up next Monday. Back again. We pre-sold this for last month, but since we're starting here next Monday, and since we're going into the vacation time, we figured we'd try to squeeze a couple of new people in. We got slots open for another 5 people, I believe. If you, with this link is going to be open here tomorrow, but if you guys are interested, go ahead and email us, contact@sanglucci.com, or you can just ping us here in this webinar here, and my guy Charlie will reach out to you. Anyways, today's topic here is going to be blocking out the noise here while momentum trading, or just while trading in general. This is obviously a big topic for all of us as we continue to get bombarded with more and more and more information. And I'm just going to go ahead and start this off with a little story of my own experience. I get distracted so much, guys. I can't even tell you how many times and how differently I get distracted now. I'm just going to go ahead and throw out all the major components of my distractions. One of the biggest ones I have is YouTube. And YouTube, you know what I'll do with YouTube? It's the worst thing in the world, is I'll go and watch like the same videos over and over again. And, you know, I made a little speech out in Vegas here at this conference that I did for, I think it was for, what the hell was it, Traders for a Cause. And one of the biggest things was the problems were, you know, for me, was literally just looking at the same videos over and over again. I want to find this one video that I continue to just look at over and over again. It was this guy who was just butchering a pig, right? And I would watch this guy butcher a cow or a pig, right, for 30 minutes straight, and I'd come back to this same video all the time. And I would do it in the morning. I'd even do it while I had trades on. You know, so I had let's say I had a big trade going on in Tesla, and I'm sitting here while I have $100,000 or $200,000 in Tesla, short, long, whatever the hell it is, and I'm watching a video on how to butcher a fucking cow. And believe it or not, like I did the stats on this, right? And I watched this video maybe 250 times, right? And you know, you do the math, right? 250 times the 30 minutes, okay? How much time is that in actuality, okay? So that is 7,500 minutes that I'm sitting here watching the same video over and over again. Meanwhile, if you showed me a carcass of a cow, right? Like if you put the carcass of a cow in front of my face with the knives and everything, ask me if I'd know how to butcher the fucking cow, right? I wouldn't even know. I wouldn't even know how to start, right? I wouldn't even know. Even though I'm watching this video and I spent 8,000 minutes watching this video over and over again, right? And it's just a force of habit. It's almost just a force of habit. So I'll go ahead and put on a trade, and I won't even care about the trade per se, and I'll kind of just look at it, you know, through my watch list or whatever. You know, and just kind of look at the prices sometimes. And this is like when I'm trying to swing something, or I'm trying to just trade something nonchalantly, but all of a sudden, you know, I'll start to get, you know, pretty heavy in these kinds of things, and then my distraction just goes elsewhere. The other thing is obviously Twitter. Twitter is huge. You know, you can get in Twitter battles. You can sit here looking at Trump comments. You look at memes all day. We haven't even talked about the phone in a second. The phone is going to be a huge one. And then obviously Bitcoin for me is a big one. So where I'll sit there and watch prices tick on Bitcoin here, I use this crypto watch. That way I can go ahead and look at prices on all these different exchanges for whatever I'm trading. So, you know, I'll trade a Bitcoin, I'll trade Ethereum, I'll trade Litecoin all the time. I got Dash, XRP, you know, you name it. And there's no central place to read, market prices for your altcoins or things like that. You know, so for the Bitcoin land, you got wallets that you have to deal with. You have several different exchanges that you have to deal with. I'm on Gemini. I'm on freaking Kraken. I'm on Deribit here for futures. For my, if I want to go ahead and short Bitcoin. So I'm on literally 4 or 5, I would even say 6 different exchanges. Bittrex, obviously, for the for some of the altcoins here. So I have all of this shit up, right? I got all of this shit up here looking at prices. Meanwhile, I got $100,000 in on fucking Tesla, you know? And I'm watching a video of somebody butcher a cow, and I'm also watching prices of Bitcoin and all this kind of other shit, okay? And then on top of that, I might go ahead and get in a friggin' Twitter rant or two, at the same time, okay? This is not productive, all right? This is not, but this is obviously the worst of it. You know, some days I'm good with it, other days I'm not. But, one of the speeches that I made, out at that conference in Vegas was that how do we control the shitty emotions that we all display, right? A lot of you guys are calling me a herb right now. I mean, this is what I call people all day on Twitter. But meanwhile, I know, I'm one of the biggest, right? I am one of the biggest here because I, portray a lot of the same characteristics, and we are all human. Okay, and then let's talk about the phone. You know what my other biggest distraction is my Gmail. Okay, so anytime I get anytime I get a notification from somebody talking to me from Gmail or somebody talking to me from, Instagram or something like that, I all of a sudden have to look down at the phone. And now I'm having a conversation on the phone while I'm in, and I should be just looking at prices on Tesla. All I should be doing if I have $100,000 or $200,000 in Tesla is looking at my level 2, is looking at my prices, is looking at my chart. Do I still have a good trade here, or do I slowly need to get out? As anybody who trades options know, okay, if you have any kind of position in, an option, and you are not paying attention to the fluctuations, you're not paying attention to the market that the market makers are making for you, you're not paying attention to paper that's coming into the trade on top of yours that is trying to trade with you or against you, there's a lot of things that you're going to miss just by simple distractions. Okay, so how many of you guys right now, the show of hands, or go ahead and explain to me some of your biggest ones. How many of you guys right now are very distracted, or feel like that on a day-to-day basis, and feel like that is a cause here of you not putting up the numbers that you're looking to see? Okay. This is a sort of cascade effect, okay? There's a cascade effect here with the distractions that you guys have. All right, what happens is that, let's say I go ahead and I'm talking to this girl that I'm trying to, have a relationship with, and I'm trying to, whatever it is, I might be trying to impress the girl, I might be trying to get out of a freaking argument because she hates me right now, and I'm sitting there trying to argue with her or talk to her while I have a trade on. All of these things are little things that all of us do, and we do it even on the 5-minute basis, 1-minute basis, whatever. We might even be sidetracked for an hour and then leave the desk completely, and then leave it up to chance. Some of the trades that we might have. How are you guys able to manage this, or are you guys even trying? If you're not trying, remember, we don't have the level of automation yet that we want to get to, okay? And one of the things that I spoke about at the conference was that I need some kind of automation to save me from myself at this point, right? You know what I'm saying? I mean, at this point, I am good enough to still make good money because I have a good read on my own emotions, and I understand, like, okay, when I'm getting a little angry and all that kind of stuff, because I've paid attention to it for so many different years. Some of you guys who are just starting out, maybe 1 year or 2 years, you don't know your emotions yet. You don't have a good read on these things yet, and you haven't seen all the ups and downs yet. Once you've seen them, it's easier to control them. However, can you do it every single day? All right? And can you do it every single second of every single day, and then every single decision that you make in the market, right? How do we do that? It's almost impossible for us to do that. So let me give you another story that I threw there out in the conference too. I had a trade on, I think it was like Priceline. I had about $100,000 trade on at Priceline, right? And then my mother calls me and is like, you know, yo, are we meeting? And I forgot. I had told her, like, you know, I'm gonna take her out for lunch or whatever it was. So I'm in my car, right? I jump in my car. I have a $100,000 trade on at Priceline. I jump in my car to go meet her for lunch, and then all of a sudden, you know, my partner hits me up, the guy that I trade Bitcoin with and I trade all the crypto with, is like, yo, we need to get in this new ICO. You got to hop into this exchange called Ether Delta, and we got to go ahead and buy, you know, $10,000, $20,000 worth of this random freaking ICO. You know, that we need to we need to go ahead and get some stuff in. So I'm driving, trying to send money to my Ether wallet here and trying to send money to Ether Delta. Have you guys ever tried to send money, you know, through the Bitcoin blockchain and through Ethereum blockchains from wallets or whatever while you're freaking driving? It's like taking acid while you're trying to take a freaking math test. You know what I mean? Like the numbers and the letters are just going to jump off the page. You can't do it. You can't do it. Right? So I try to send over $50,000 to this random exchange here, which is a piece of shit, by the way. You can't even send market orders. You know, you can't even take a limit order too. So in order to just get anything filled, you gotta click on this order here and buy, you know, whatever the hell it is, and then you gotta make multiple transactions if you're trying to get size, right? Now, the shitty part about some of these exchanges is they get hacked all the time. All right, they get hacked all the time. I got hacked because I left my wallet. I left my coins in my wallet overnight because I totally forgot about the shit instead of storing them in a hard drive, and I lost the 50 grand. And I'm doing it while fucking driving just to meet my mother for lunch. You know what I mean? And then I come back and look at my Priceline trade, and I'm losing money there too. You know, so these things happen all the time, and these are the very stupid things as human beings that we do. You take a look at the texting and driving. Let's just look at that example. You know, just that example alone, how many times are you going to be motivated just to text and drive? Anybody here, there's 63 or there's 83 people or whatever in this webinar. You know what I mean? How many of you guys are going to tell me that you don't fucking text and drive? You might tell me that you in majority of the time you don't text and drive. But what about that one time? What about that one time where shit is hitting the fan and you got to talk to somebody, or you got to take a freaking email, you got to look at an email because shit hit the fan, you got to put out some fires, and all of a sudden you look at an email and then you get in a fucking accident, okay? How are you expected to do this shit, to make the right decisions on a daily basis every single time? You fucking cannot. All right? But now there's a flip side here in the market, right? I mean, you had in 2006 and 2007, right? You had the rise of the algos, and all of a sudden, you know, making a just computerized algo trading sort of system, market making system, and all this kind of stuff was the way to go because you could take out the human component. Now, even the algos can't even get it right because the code, you got to change your code every single year or every single 6 months when the market changes, the sentiment changes, or whatever the hell it is. So even the algos can't survive. Guess where I think, and again, this is just my opinion, is where things are headed, is that sort of human computer sort of connection. So what I think is going to happen is that in the future, we are going to have all these invasive apps that will sort of prevent us from our own selves, right? And we will allow these apps and we will allow this technology to go ahead and make decisions on our behalf because we know we cannot be trusted to do them ourselves. So you know what I did with the YouTube shit? So I have this, I have this little plugin called Stay Focused, right? So I get a max allotment here on these active days, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, or it looks like we don't have Friday, but I just get 2 minutes on certain sites, right? And then I got to block myself from certain sites. So as soon as I hit 2 minutes, and this is from 8:30, or this is from 8 o'clock to maybe 4 o'clock, I can't even look at this, right? And I can't even change the settings, right? This is how badly we need all this stuff, because we have to allow these things to not even allow us to come back here and change them. Because if I could go ahead and I really wanted to watch something, or I really wanted to go to freaking Instagram, or I really wanted to go freaking hit up this girl that whatever I'm trying to talk to, but I know I couldn't be trusted to not do it, what are your options? You know what I'm saying? What are your options? In reality, you need to allow something else to take control of that, just to stay focused, just to stay without that sort of distraction. All right, so this is not a webinar here promoting this fucking extension here, Stay Focused, but this is more or less a webinar here to expose some of the problems that we all have, okay? And a lot of us just are either not realizing them, or a lot of us aren't spending the time realizing that, hey, I just spent 30 minutes watching a motherfucking video, and I just lost the opportunity to, catch some good longs, right? So there's a disconnect. There's a big disconnect, and it especially goes into, what sort of trading strategy or where you are in your strategy. If you're depressed and you kind of, you're losing money, you're going to wake up every single day expecting things to be different, but they're not, and you're going to look for that constant distraction. You're going to look for that constant distraction. How many of you guys look on Twitter and, and look at opinions of other traders and then allow that to influence what direction you want to make a trade? So all of a sudden right now, and by the way, the market is very choppy right now. I firmly believe nobody has a fucking clue where the hell we're going to go. However, the norm has been to buy the freaking dip, and you'll end up in the glory days. Maybe that'll happen, maybe it won't. Right now we're very choppy, so it's very difficult to get direction on anything. There's a lot of people who look elsewhere, okay? And there's another place too where they also look for, where they also look for that distraction. Okay, chat rooms. How many of you guys have more than one chat room? Okay. How many of you guys have more than one chat room? How many of you guys are in and actively in and speaking in more than one freaking chat room? Okay, there's a lot of you in here that are subscribed to, 2 or 3 different chat rooms, and you're just bouncing around through each one. Yeah, we got a bunch of people who are saying they're in 3 chat rooms. You know what? Ever since crypto came out too, how many of you guys have Telegram? You guys are on Telegram. How many of you guys have the private messaging app, the ones that supposedly, there's no record, right? You got the Telegram, you got the Signal. All the crypto chats are where? They ain't on these applications. They're all on Telegram. They're all on, these other mediums here where ICOs are being pumped and dumped and all that kind of stuff. So now you're not only that, you're getting notifications on your phone from fucking Telegram to tell you to buy some bullshit IPO from the last member in the fucking Wu-Tang Clan. And meanwhile, you're over here in this chat room trying to buy Bank of America here for a couple of calls. What the fuck can you really do? What can you really accomplish out here? Tell me, please. What can you really, really accomplish by being distracted in these so many different directions, okay? At the end of the day, you still got to come back to the core strategy. You still will always come back to what works for you, and you still have to find out how to create the best environment for you to just execute that particular strategy or several or 1 or 2 of these strategies here. We got a lot of people making comments here on some of the issues that they have. I would love to bring in some of these things for a discussion here. That way we can all just kind of talk it out. But in reality, guys, what's the solution? All right, and I know that's what that's what we got to get down to, right? What is the solution? Right now, there isn't a defined solution besides yourself, right? You want to know why the best traders are always making it? Okay, because their mental fortitude, their mental strength, and the psychology of what they bring to the table, that's their edge. They themselves are the edge. All right, so what is it that they do, right? They get up in the morning, they work out, right? They make sure they're in the best sort of mind state here to come into the market in the morning. They'll do their research in the morning. So for me, for example, you know, hitting Business Insider, hitting Market Watch, just seeing what the news is for the morning, hitting Twitter, seeing what some of the gap ups and gap downs are, and then trying to iron out, like, okay, what trade here are we going to make? Once I iron that all out and I figure out, okay, I'm gonna outline Goldman here for a trade long, or maybe I'll trade Chipotle, then I'll go ahead and set up all my level 2s, right? So, you know, maybe it's just a bunch of level 2s, 10 or 20 level 2s that I have on my other screens, and these things are all ready to go. They're all set up and ready to go, and as soon as I see the type of action that I like, you know, I'm banging away at these things. If it works, great. If it doesn't, whatever. You know, I'm in and out of these things and trying to just make good decisions here on these trades. Now, once 11 o'clock rolls around, once 11:30 rolls around in the morning here, I'm kind of, on the sideline here doing other work until the volume comes back at around 2 o'clock, 2:30. You know, so that's my typical day. That is literally my typical day, all right? But what are the distractions that are going to pull you away from that day? For example, Wednesdays, I got to pick up the kids from school because they got half a day. So sometimes on Wednesdays, I'll try to make a huge trade in the morning, and then I'll get stuck in it because now all of a sudden I got to go pick up the kids, and I'll leave the trade on, or, you know, it'll be a scramble for me to get out. These are all situations where you need to outline, you need to execute around, or you need to say, you know what, I'm not going to trade. I'm not going to trade on this day because I know I'm going to fuck something up because I got to bounce at 11 o'clock or I got to bounce at 10:30. All right, there's so many little use case scenarios that I'm talking about for you guys here, whether it's the phone, whether it's the websites that you look at, whether it's who you're talking to, who you're influenced by, and all that kind of stuff that you guys need to start ironing out. Okay, so let's go ahead and take some questions. Again, this is a huge topic too, by the way, that we talk about during the during the course. So we have a whole psychology section here for the course, and just kind of figuring out what your strategy is and overcoming some of the risks involved, and what kind of mentality you really need to bring to the table, and how to start blocking some of these things out. Remember, it's just a mindset, and you are the edge. You have to look at these things and find the solutions. Maybe you only have 2 hours of solid time that you can trade. If that's the case, what the fuck are you trading for the whole day for? Maybe you guys got a day job and you can't day trade, but all of a sudden you're sitting in a chat room and they're telling you to day trade something and you want to go ahead and day trade it. All of this, you got to start cutting out. Okay, just like they say, as you get older in life, right? You start cutting out relationships, right? Cutting out friends that ain't fucking working, that you just, that are not good for you. Cutting out ideas and dreams that ain't gonna fucking happen. All right. As you get older, you start to learn this shit. It's the same shit in trading. Okay, cut the shit out. If you're trading 4 different strategies, cut it out. Get it down to 1 or 2. If you're looking at 90 different websites here for information and you're looking at videos of 30-minute to butcher a cow, figure out a way to cut it out, okay? You know what I did? I did the same thing on my phone too. So literally from 8 o'clock to 11 o'clock, I can't even touch Instagram. I can't touch any of this shit. I can't touch anything, okay? So, I literally had to force myself through other means, through technology, to solve that problem for me. Okay, so let's go ahead and take some questions. Again, the course is going to start next Monday, and we teach everything from flow trading, how to use obviously the Steam Room here, which we do provide data for. Options data in specific. You guys can take a look at it here. Plus, we do have a free trial as well for this for I think about 3 days, and then you get renewed at about $225. We might have some discounts there. Again, just ping us and let us know if you're interested. We'll go ahead and give you the details. The options flow here, just basically looking at other traders, putting in some big size to certain names, how to trade these things. And then tape. Tape is basically the, what I work off of completely. How to read a time and sales, how to read a level 2, how to understand who's the market maker behind it, where do you have paper in between, a trader like me, what kind of fills are you going to get, exchanges and routes. We go through market structure as well, just understanding how the market works in general here, and how you're going to figure out where your strategy is and where to carve your edge here in the markets. Okay, so again, we start next Monday. We're going to open it up for another 5 people. You're going to get a 30% discount, actually. 33% discount. This page will be open tomorrow, but just go ahead and let us know if you're interested. SangLucci.com/MC. My boy Charlie is going to give you the link. Let's go ahead and take some freaking questions here, okay? So talk to me, guys, about your distractions. There's a lot of people that relate to some of my stories here. One of you guys said porn. One of you guys said porn. That's actually very interesting. I mean, there's a correlation. There was a study. There was a correlation between depression and porn use. So if you're depressed and losing money, it's not going to be a surprise that all of a sudden you look for, Brazzers.com or an X videos to start looking at porn to, get yourself, back into a world where nothing freaking matters. And maybe you can carve out a little bit of excitement here. Dimitri is saying, can you provide advice on how to configure your workstation to maximize efficiency in executing trades? Sure, Dimitri, you might just need some screen real estate. You know what I'm saying? You might just need some screen real estate. So, for example, like over here, this is my trading screen, and it's kind of jumbled here right now. But this is like basically where you'll see all my level 2s, So I'll have like 10 of these up on several different screens, throughout the day. And, and that's kind of how I use this, right? And then hotkeys as well, So having a sort of platform that allows you to automate, and allows you to create hotkeys, so that way I can just tab over to something, hit enter, and get the fuck in something. Or hit F4 or hit F9, and I can get right into something. So that's my efficiency, Dimitri. I want to be able to add, subtract very quickly without having to send, without having to click something 6 times just to get a fucking fill or just to move around in something. Okay, so I hope that makes sense there, Dimitri. Jay Ahern here is saying, what is Instagram? Bro, I mean, that's good. That's good. Keep it there. You know what I mean? Forget about Instagram. Let's see. What else we got? Daniel is saying, do you weight action at different times of the day more than others, or does it all depend on volume? Daniel, it really all depends. I mean, you might wake up in the morning and all of a sudden, Trump is at the center of the news, right? And for example, tomorrow, right? We got the jobs report. The jobs report tomorrow is at 8:30, and what moves heavy off of jobs report every single time is the banks. So I'm already, we already know here that tomorrow morning I'm going to come in and start looking at the banks. So, it depends. It really depends. Usually the mornings are aggressive for me. And then as we get into the afternoon, it kind of tails off. But around 2:30, around 2:30, things kind of pick up. I shorted SPY today and caught this, and caught 20, 30 cents off of this on an option, So you never know when a trade comes out. But you have to just hang around. You got to hang around, and you got to be in there. You got to be in there, okay? Any other questions here? There's a lot of comments here on some of your distractions. I know you guys obviously are having a lot of these distractions. Alex is saying, I think my problem is that I'm not busy enough, and I get myself into trades that I shouldn't be, and then sometimes I go play Madden to stay away. That's great. Sometimes you go, pop in on a Need for Speed and do a drift race or something, where you play a quick game of Madden. Some people do push-ups. Some people just sit there and do some push-ups. Like I said, again, there is no clean way right now to solve this problem. I mean, right now I have this sort of, this app right here that is taking care of basically my immediate needs. But there's so many more emotional situations that we find ourselves into that influence our decision making. And as technology continues to grow, okay, which by the way we all have to stay in front of, there's going to be more opportunities to do this. For example, I created an algo for myself. That way it would get me out of certain situations. So if I'm over trading an option, for example, and I take 2 or 3 losses within a certain period of time, then the algo stops me from trading that particular name. And I can't even trade any other leg in the option as well. Okay, so I'm already starting to create the automation that I know I need because I am an emotional motherfucker, right? I am an emotional basket fucking case. And what are the things that I know I'm going to get into, and some of the problems that I know I'm going to have? You know what other specifically trading issues that I have? Sometimes I size up too much, and you know, if your timing is not right on options, and you got size, and you're not right, you're fucked. You are beyond fucked. You okay? So what happens is I have an algo that basically makes sure that if I'm up in that trade, you know, I'm not going to go less than, or a little bit more less than break even. You know, so I can't take that for a loser. You know, little things here that you can do, or you know, me personally, I paid to get done just so I can find a workaround for this. This is what I'm spending my time on right now. And just like the self-driving cars, I mean, guys, that's one instance of a problem that we humans have that is now going to be solved through automation and through technology and through programming. So once all the artificial intelligence starts happening, and once all these databases start getting juicy, and the machine learning programming languages start to learn over time just by looking at our behavioral data, imagine how many other apps are going to be available just to stop you from your dumbass self. And remember, you are the dumbest motherfucker alive. You got to admit it. And in order to be a successful trader, that's the first thing you start with. That is the first thing you start with. What do I suck at? What am I good at? Okay, whatever I suck at here, how do we figure out how to bottleneck this stuff out? Okay, and how do we focus on what we're good at? Some of you guys are saying you need an opposite bot. By the way, I got a quick story about that for you, Jay Ahern. There was a lot of prop groups, obviously in New York, with 1,000 traders or 2,000 traders, right? 90% of these guys would fucking lose, okay? 90% of these guys would lose. So you know what they figured out? They were like, you know what? What if we just had a hedge book? What if we had a hedge book and we took the opposite side of all these people, you know? And that way we can go ahead and hedge ourselves. We can hedge our books. And boom, we're good to go. We know, obviously, through our data that 90% of our fucking traders will lose every single day. It doesn't matter. Every single day, these people will lose. So all we got to do here is take a hedge book, take the opposite side. We can make money there. We can make some cash here on the executions, of course, and the commissions. We can sell them education, and so on and so forth, baby. It is what it is. Let's see. We got Matt here saying, I tend to average and lose more at the end of the day. Sure. There's people that average into losing trades because you're stuck. You got attachment. You know, that's another emotional issue altogether. Forget about distractions. You want to talk attachment. That is the largest human issue known to man here. That is the largest source of our downfall, is all of our bullshit attachments, okay? So again, these are things that we talk about, and you know, we try to help you out with during the course as well. But most of all, you know, you got to have an understanding of how a market works, bid and ask, and all this kind of stuff. So this is all the stuff that we do teach. The emotional and the psychological part of it, this is where you either have an edge or you fucking don't, okay? So you might be a great trader, but you still lose money. Why? Because of your distractions, your attachments, and all this other bullshit that you cannot control, okay? Any other questions? Any other questions? Remember to hit us up here if you're interested in the course. And remember, we start on Monday. The link will be open tomorrow. Charlie, can you go ahead and send them the link? Alex is saying, what charts are most helpful to you? I find to look at daily charts too much and don't look for perspective. Let me tell you right now, these charts are worthless. Charts to me are fucking worthless. Technical indicators are worthless. Everything that you need to know and everything that is of valuable information is right here on the level 2. Okay? Because remember, the transactions happen here first. This is just a display of these transactions. And then any of the indicators that you find are literally mathematical calculations on what is happening here. They combine this and that shit you don't even fucking know about, and they give you these nice, colorful charts and paintings, you know, and all this kind of bullshit that no longer works here. Now, if you took technical analysis, though, to crypto, If you took it to the crypto world, then it works, okay? Because this is an immature kind of market here, and you have situations that do work out here. By the way, Bitcoin just hit the highs. Holy shit. And I still have some. I'm going to get out of some, but I'm going to short the shit out of this thing pretty soon. But it looks like we're going to 17,000 anyway, or 18,000, depending on what exchange you are anyway. Now, back to the charts and my point here. Remember, for me, it's all tape, and that's what you guys are going to learn here through the master course. Is tape. How to read, bid, and ask. Who are the buyers and sellers in here? What is the market maker trying to do? Are there big players in here? Are there not? How do you read supply and demand? That is what it is. Okay. Jay Ahern is talking about the 19,000 on GDAX. So what happened, bro? And by the way, like you can see it here. You see the spread here? On a Tesla option, sometimes you get 50 cents or sometimes you get $1 or whatever. And then if you look at an illiquid name like a Priceline or something, you might get a $2 spread. So the same thing is happening in these crypto markets where these exchanges are so freaking illiquid, where you sometimes might get a $2,000 spread. Gemini has been really good. GDAX and some of the other ones, and some of the other smaller ones, have had huge spreads. Sometimes you see spreads of 2,000 points. So some guy hit market at the wrong fucking time, and he got the fuck print. He got the fuck you print, and that was the 19,000. That's what happened. Poor guy. And by the way, these exchanges have been down. Gemini's been down the whole freaking day. I haven't been able to do shit. Gemini's been down the whole day. Coinbase was down, I think, a good portion of the day. Bittrex was down. Bittrex was down too. So even if he wanted to do shit, I tried to get it out of Ethereum the other day when it was the first crash. So this was like the $500 move to friggin' I think it was like to 400, and it happened real quickly. Yeah, I think it was one of these moves right here. And then Gemini just locked me out the whole time. Maybe it was this one. I don't know. One of these moves, something like that. But Gemini just locked me out, and I couldn't do shit. So I had I think I had like 200 Ether at that point. I could only get out of 50, and then I had to stomach the rest of it. It was ugly. Yeah, I think it was this right here. So we hit 500 and then came right back down. Yeah, something like that. Shit was crazy. Anyways, any other questions? Any other questions at all? Charlie here, are you you out here? You're sending these links. I'm going to go ahead and send it to him again. Everybody have the link, sanglucci.com/MC, and that'll go ahead and get you in for a 33% discount. I think that'll get you down to what, a $1,500 cost, $1,700 cost? I don't know, Charlie. Just go ahead and let us know if you are interested. Tomorrow, again, the link will be open. I think that's it. All right, guys. Take care. Happy trading out there, and start looking at some of the issues that you're having as far as distractions. All right? So it could be the littlest thing. All right? It could be the littlest thing. All right? Xavier is asking about the prompt firms here, if it's SMB or, let me tell you something. All of them did that shit. All of them did that shit. And by the way, that was their edge, because your commissions are going to zero, right? So if you look at the prop trading space as a business, as an industry, all the commissions are going to zero. You can't have any of these mom and pop trading shops anymore. And all the regulations that started to come out too, that you had to get your Series 5, 6, to be a prop trader or whatever. So then all of them got collapsed into what? SMB, your T3 Live, a couple of the Bright Trading, or, maybe there was like 5 in total across the freaking country about these firms. Now, how are these firms going to continue to make money if our commissions are going down to zero, right? Xavier, what the fuck would you do? What would you do? You start selling $3,000 education, you start charging desk fees, you fee out the ass, right? It's like a Bank of America in there. Oh, yeah. There's even some places that charge you $11 a day or $10 a day just to sit the fuck down and trade. So you charge the fees out the ass, and then you create some fancy automation in the back end, and you scalp the shit out of your own traders. Brutal out here, baby. Brutal. Max here is saying, so level 2 versus candlestick prints, shit being rigged when trading manually. I'm vulnerable to getting the shakeout then on longer time frame by the EOD. Price goes where I anticipated. Oh, man. You know what? This is our bread and butter. This is what we do, Max. Because Max is talking about where the largest money is made. okay? The largest money in the markets are made after these fake outs, after these shakeouts, okay? And why do they do that? Well, if you look at it from an options perspective, guess what happens on some of these squeezes, all right? What happens is your premium goes to nothing, right? Everybody who thought this move in Tesla, let's say down through 300 bucks, was going to happen right here. What are they paying for premium up here? They're paying $3, $4 for premium, and what's it worth up here? It's worth nothing. So now you've effectively destroyed every single person who wanted to go for it, and now nobody's in it. Nobody's even looking at it. Everybody's pissed off they took a fucking loss on it, and now maybe it's clear for that move down. Who knows? But that's the point. That's how the market moves. You got to be able to understand this and anticipate this, Max. If you can't anticipate this shit, and you can't anticipate where that premium is going to get sucked out and everybody's going to get screwed, you are going to fall in that pit every single time, man. And you're saying, how does the market flow show us demand? Bro, simple bid and ask, man. Simple bid and ask, baby. I'll show you how to look at it. Hell yes. All of it is in the level 2. All of it is in the tape, 100%. You can see buyers and sellers. You can see the demand. You can see the squeezes. You can see the lack of price moving in that direction. So you know it's like a springboard, man. When there's tension that's built up, you know, and all of that has to resolve itself in a certain way. And usually they go for the gut check because remember, if you're a market maker and you're selling all this premium here, you know, you think you're gonna walk people into that money? You think you're gonna pay people out like that? You know, 200%, 300% on their money? You know, a market-making firm would lose their business completely. There's no way they can survive, man. So there comes manipulation at a lot of these price levels, you know, at a lot of these places where your candles will tell you buy, 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 you know, whatever the hell it is. But mostly your chart patterns and shit like that, they'll work against you, 100%. All right, guys, take care. I think we might be having another webinar here before the Monday's class, but I love topics like this. Go ahead and feed us other topics if you need to. Hit us up, charlie@sanglucci.com, yeah, just charlie@sanglucci.com. Charlie with an E too, by the way, an IE, if you're not white. All right, later.